Oh,
Oh,
wait,
no,
hold on.
wait.
Oh, almost.
Come here.
Wait,
Almost.
wait. I'm over here. Hold on. Wait. Yeah.
Almost.
Hello, hello, folks. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Drinking Buddies. Ta-da! So anyway, as always, my name is BHD, and this gentleman to my right is...
Geek Master P.
And we are back. Thank you guys for joining us in the last few live streams. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. We will get better at them, I promise. As I said on the live stream on Sunday, or last Sunday rather, we're going to have some things coming through the pike. I am trying to get to where I can do giveaways through Amazon. We're getting close. I'm just working on some stuff, so hopefully in the next couple of months we can make that happen. We're still trying to get better with the live streams. There's some things that I'm going to have to do there that, again, cost money, and quite frankly, right now we don't have it. Any donations at all, guys, help us out. PayPal.me/BHDXXX. And if you like what we're doing or want to see us get better at what we're doing, then please, if you can, help us out. We appreciate it very much. As always, with any YouTube channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And guys, a little key I'll throw in that I'm talking about on my vlog this week. If you haven't watched it, go check it out, BHD Vlogs. As a matter of fact, I will make sure that this channel is subscribed to that channel so you can go down to our subscriptions or recommended channels or whatever it shows up as and find my other channel there. Link. So, or on our Facebook page, I'll share the link also. Facebook.com/Drinking Buddies DFW, DRINKIN, just like in the logo. Drinking Buddies DFW. So let's get right on into the show. This is not going to be a very long one today, folks. It's not been a very exciting week for things, and it just kind of is what it is. So to start off the show, I am drinking this week Sapporo. It is brewed in what's this say here? Brewed and bottled by Sapporo Brewing Company, La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's alright. It's not one of my favorites. It's not one of the worst. It's right on par with Heineken. It's kind of skunky, kind of sweet, kind of, in my opinion, meh. It's okay.
Well, but true, but at the same time, it's not an actual Japanese beer, like, Kirin.
Yeah,
or...
I always thought Sapporo was a Japanese or some kind of Asian import, like Kirin Ichiban or Asahi, but apparently I was wrong. Either that or this is a copy. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is I tried it and it's meh. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's middle of the road. It's okay. For the price, I would much rather have gone with the Corona Asahi Kirin, something like that, because it was $10 for the 6-pack, and it's just too much for what I got, I feel like. Pud, what do you got this week?
And like you said, and I really couldn't find anything to really kind of promote per se. So I just went with my go-to. I went with Corona. Familiar to be exact.
Fair enough. The Familiar, for those of you who don't know, is a slightly different brew of Corona. It's a little bit darker in color, slightly heavier in flavor. But other than that, it's just a 32 ounce of Corona. So anyway, what we're going to talk about this week, guys, is the movie Logan. Just came out last Friday, March 3rd. The wife and I got around to seeing it this Tuesday night. We just decided, you know what, we're going to do it. And we did it. And so the first part of this discussion is going to be spoiler free. However, I will put a warning directly above our heads, big and bright, before we get to spoilers. So if you watch past that, I don't want to hear any crap. I warned you. So
fair enough.
Currently spoiler free, later on spoilers. Going into this movie and being a hardcore comic book fan, especially a follower of Wolverine in particular, that character, and knowing that the Fox X-Men / Marvel movies have a history of the X-Men already had a screwy timeline as it is. Where they made their own mistakes writing the comics, different writing teams, different, whatever. There was a lot of mistakes as it was. And they took it upon themselves to not only mishmash a bunch of those different things, but to also make more mistakes and continuity errors. So it's been clusterfuck, for lack of a better way of putting it. So I went into this movie going, okay, they're going to take a couple of stories or a few stories, mash them together, pull some crap out of their ass to make it work their way, and whatever it is, what it is. Trailers look good. Let's check it out. Without spoiling it, by the end of the movie, my wife was crying and I was choking back some tears. It was very, very touching.
Wow, I'm surprised.
It was good. It was a really, really good movie. They took roughly 4 comic story arcs and kind of mashed them together and then twisted some things around on their own. They did exactly what I thought they were going to do. It just turned out a lot better than I could have ever hoped. And it was a heck of a send-off for Hugh Jackman and for Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart could have gotten a little better send-off, I think. The Professor Xavier's character could have gotten a little better send-off, I think. But it is what it is. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, yeah, it is what it is. They're already molding this other kid that's been in the other X-Men movies to replace Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. I think in Apocalypse, they had him actually go bald or something like that finally. But it doesn't matter what they do. He's just not the same. No one's ever going to replace Patrick Stewart. That guy's good.
Oh, you're talking about James McAvoy, I believe.
I guess. I honestly don't even know the guy's name. He's okay. And I liked the whole passing of the torch kind of thing that they did. Some people argue with me and say, no, it's not what it was. But I kind of think it was, where in Days of Future Past, they had the two meet and have a discussion. Young Xavier, old Xavier. I thought that was kind of cool. He's just never going to replace Patrick Stewart in my mind, and I'm sure in a lot of other people's minds, but they're trying real hard. So, okay. That's kind of where that's at. So without spoiling it, you've already seen trailers, and that's the best I can tell you without spoiling it. So here it comes. Warning right here. Yeah. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to hear it, stop now. Do not complain in the comments. I don't even want to hear that shit. Don't even try.
I don't
want to hear your crap. I'm telling you now. One more time. Warning. Right here. Warning. See there? So I don't want to hear your shit. So here we go. What they did was they took bits and pieces of the Old Man Logan story, the Death of Wolverine story, the origin of X-23 story, which I think was something about the New Mutants, or I don't remember the title of the comic at this point, but the origin story of X-23 and a little bit of the X-24 storyline, mishmashed them all together, and it was pretty good. I saw in the beginning of the movie there was kind of a nod when they were talking about Laura Kinney and X-23 and how that all came about, and they were explaining it in their way. Which most of the origin is intact. However, they did change some stuff around. Again, they did this intentionally to tug at your heartstrings because fuck you, Fox. They knew what they were doing. I gotta give them that. They knew what they were doing on this one. So, there were some nods and some flashes. You see the wording X-24 in different places, and you see the body in the chamber and everything. And
wait, X-24, I don't recall that.
Yeah, I know you know nothing about a lot of these things. That's why I'm going into this kind of detail. See, this is the first time he's really going to get to hear this also. So this is more of a, he's an audience, you're an audience. Like y'all are all getting to hear this from me.
Well,
for
we
the first
both
time.
grew up reading X-Men comics, dude.
You were nowhere near like I was. You read absolutely nowhere close to the amount of stories I did. So don't even try that crap with me. But so they told the origin of X-23, merged in and got the nod in early on about X-24. And then you go on a little ways, and then all of a sudden, bam, here's this fucking perfect clone of Wolverine. And I'm like, they did do X-24. This is going to be so awesome. This is not really how it happened, but cool. And so you've got this perfect young clone of Wolverine. So Hugh Jackman did double duty. They didn't have a double. It was him doing the role twice, as old and as young Logan, and battling himself. And holy crap, it was amazing. And at one point, the young girl that played Laura Kinney / X-23, her name is Daphne Keene, decided once she had seen Logan was hurt bad, she lost her shit on him, and it was just amazing to see.
Well, but correct me if I'm wrong. in her story, she was already a full grown woman. She wasn't like some 11 or
No, I
12
know.
year
That's
kid,
that
right?
was part of the whole twist. No.
At
She
least as far
was
as I recall.
no. You've never read it.
No, I did bits and pieces. It's
No,
not the whole
you
thing.
no bullshit. I call total bullshit on that because no, she was not bred in a tube as a full grown woman. She was a child who was developed. The embryo was developed in
No,
a
I
dish.
know that, but I'm talking about when she was
No,
introduced
let me
in the
finish.
comics. It was
No.
past all that.
No, it wasn't. I'm telling you. So, for those of you that don't know, or don't know much about it, or don't know anything about it, whatever, I'm going to break it down as quick as I can. Laura Kinney was the 23rd attempt at a clone of Wolverine. And the scientist in charge of the project at the time, whose name was something Kinney, I don't remember, sue me, decided to, or no, only had the Y chromosome to work with because they didn't have enough complete DNA. So, of course, it was going to turn out as a female. And as opposed to breeding the person in some sort of tube-like system, she developed, implanted the restructured DNA into herself as if an embryonic implant like surrogate mothers would do, and carried the baby to term, gave birth to her, and raised her within the Weapon X facility. Was told numerous times not to get attached. This is not your kid. Da, 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 da. Well, finally, after all the abuse she was put through, part of which was she was not. She was born a normal child with the mutations of the Wolverine's healing ability and claws. However, her claws developed to having 2 in each hand and 1 in each foot, as opposed to 3 in each hand, which they attributed to being Y chromosome dominant and being female. It was because of her gender, not because of anything else. Why she turned out that way. Instead of subjecting her to outfitting her entire skeleton with adamantium, they only weaponized her claws. So only her claws are adamantium. The rest of her skeleton is like yours and mine. It's normal. So technically, she's more vulnerable to severe injury and death than Wolverine was. However, her healing ability is 3 times that of his. She can heal much, much, much faster. She's also quicker, and they said in her later years stronger than he was. But the way they did this in the movie was she was rescued as a kid, which in the comics, as a kid, she escaped, bounced around for a long time until Deadpool and somebody else found her. She also, something they did not include in the movie, was bred with a trigger scent where if she smelled this particular smell, it would set her off into one of Wolverine's infamous berserker rages. However, there was no controlling her at that point. She would kill anyone and everything in her path. Friend, foe, there was no differentiation. The trigger scent just set her off and she would go into killing mode. They did not incorporate that into the movie. The way the movie went was similar to the whole thing, only they were doing it in Mexico, and instead of it being this particular scientist, and because see, they never explained how she got her name either. They just call her Laura. They don't reference Laura Kinney. They don't reference any surrogate mother or anything other than they were taking these children, breeding them, and using random Mexican women off the street in Mexico and then killing them afterwards, which that's not how it went. Also because of the fact that in the movie they did this in Mexico, or said the lab was in Mexico, she spoke very little English and mostly Spanish. So it was kind of funny watching her scream in Spanish at Logan and him going, "Shut the fuck up!" It was pretty cool. So they find her, they catch her. Logan spends most of the movie trying to fight the fact that he does not want to be screwing with this little girl. He just wants to live his life. The entire time he's trying to save up money by working as a limo driver to go buy him and Charles a Stargate or a Sungazer boat to go live on the ocean. The whole thing's really touching, and it's like, I just want to be left alone. The other thing, his death, he did not die via being encased in adamantium as in the comic. And the thing causing him not to heal was not a virus from the microverse. The way they twisted it was kind of interesting and made sense from a realistic perspective. His adamantium skeleton was poisoning him from the inside in his old age. Which, if you think about it, that kind of makes sense. You've got all this metal in your body. Eventually, your organs are going to start going, hey, this ain't supposed to be here. And that's what slowed down and eventually stopped his healing ability, was being poisoned from the inside by his own skeleton.
That is a unique little twist.
Yeah, that's kind of what they did. That is what they did with it. So, like I said, they did a lot of things, and he ended up dying because he ended up sustaining enough severe injuries that it finally shut his organs down, and he died. That's really what happened. But there's a lot of other deep stuff I won't really go into because you really got to go see the movie. But there are a lot of things, like I was blown away. Wow, I'm surprised they went that route with this movie. I gotta say, the movie needed the R rating. If they'd have tried to do it PG-13, it would have been awful. It would have been just absolutely awful.
Though, knowing that because you've never been known to cry except with a very, very small handful of movies.
Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. You play that fucking movie, I'll be bawling, and you can eat my butthole. That movie gets me every time, even to this day.
And I can also say the Fast and Furious franchise, because that's happened with both of us.
Furious 7 got me, but I don't know anybody that, well, I know a handful of people, but like a lot of people, that movie got a lot of people. Me especially, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
And this may surprise some people, but the only other movie that I've ever watched that even now, watching the end of it, where I'll literally sit there and tear up, is the end of the Lord of the Rings movies. Especially in the scene where Frodo is saying goodbye to Merry, Pippin, and Sam, and gives the journal to him to basically fill it, and then takes off with, the two high elves, Gandalf, and of course Bilbo in his old age, and they just go off. That gets me every time.
Well, everybody's got their movies that trigger them, that tug on their heartstrings, but I gotta say this one is certainly one of them. It got my wife good. She was bawling. It was almost comical. It was kind of funny, but I felt bad too because I was choking a little bit. Oh yeah. So everybody, like I said, this is going to be a short episode. It's really just a review of Logan episode, and it was kind of one-sided. And I apologize for that, but we got some fun stuff coming down the pike, and something we are going to start doing too, I think, is possibly doing product reviews. I may keep those just on my vlog. I hadn't decided, but we do have some fun stuff coming up. We are going to be doing a Drinking Buddies drinking contest soon.
I was about to
that
bring
ought to
that
be
up,
good.
sir.
No, that's coming. So that's it for this week's episode, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. As always, like, share, subscribe, and whore us out like the monkeys we are. It made sense to me, damn it.
We need the attention bad.
That's right. So, as always, I have been BHD, and this has been
GMP.
And we are out of here. We will see you guys next week.
Wait, hold on.
Wait.
Almost.
Come here.
Wait,
Almost.
Wait, I'm over here. Hold on. Wait. Yeah.
Almost.